What's up, everybody? It's your partner, Noble Anpu, aka the Abrahamic integrator, the real AI. And I'm talking about, the three Abrahamic religions need to have some form of integration in our understanding of them so we could really advance. So today I want to introduce a new group of people inside of the mix that was actually recorded in the Holy Quran. All right, so it's totally gonna blow your mind. All right, so historically speaking, there was a period of time that was a very, very, very rich period of time known as the Islamic Golden Age, and simultaneously you had the Jewish Golden Age at the same time. Now, the only people that didn't consider this a golden age was the Christians, because in order for the Islamic rulers to be the political power of the day, they defeated the Christians, okay? And so they think for them, it wasn't the golden age for them. But nevertheless, right? And so, it is said that Abraham, from the Bible standpoint, is the father of many nations, okay? And that's very interesting, because if he's the father of many nations, then that means the Jew would have to accept the fact that, okay, well, everybody not going to be an Israelite or a Jew then, because Abraham is the father of many nations, okay? So just ain't going to be one Israeli nation, right? Okay, makes perfect sense, all right? Now, I'll say this, that there's another group of people inside of the Quran that is on par with the Muslim, and I would even go as far to say, because I really want you to think about this, especially if you're Muslim or you have any Islamic background, you can actually marry these three groups of people as long as you or these people adhere to the tenet of the belief, okay? This is very interesting, okay? Now, let me back up a little bit before I get into them. Historically speaking, the Jews, which were in the linear timeline, were first. Then you had the Christians, and then you had Islam come, okay? Now, it's very interesting because the Jewish faith, the Hebrew language, along with the Arabic language, these are like sister languages, ladies and gentlemen. When you understand that in Arabic, when they open up the prayer, it's like Bismillah, which means in the name of Allah. So the word or letter B represents in, Bismi, going in, right? Well, in Hebrew, the Bible opens up with Barashith, which means what? In the beginning. So the letter B denotes going in. So in Hebrew, if you were to say, just to say in God, you can say Bah Elohim. Okay, so in God, okay? The letter B denotes going in. The same numerical value systems. For one, we both got Alephs, we got a Bet, they got a Ba. Both got Noons, okay? Which is the letter N. In Hebrew, the letter N has a numerical value of 50, but so does Arabic. We say or, which means light. In Islam, in Arabic, says Nur, which means light. Now, I heard a rabbi say that in old times, these times here, that the Jewish family and Muslim family would babysit each other's children. And that's very interesting. That is very, very, very interesting, because both of these have, they have similar tenets. The language structure is the same. It's called a Semitic, a Semitic language. So the language structure is the same. You also have the holy day, Friday today, like Shalom Shabbat, but Juma Mubarak for the Muslims. So the Muslims on Friday, they come together in mass and pray. And then Friday evening, we know, is the beginning of the Sabbath for the Jews. You see what I'm saying? So from not eating pork to the language structure to, the Friday being really the holy day, in a sense, the beginning of the holy day, there's some striking similarities. And again, it's a known fact, historically speaking, that the Jews would experience their golden age when the Muslims, Moors, were in power. Okay, now this doesn't mean that another group of Moors didn't seize power and give what we call hell to the Jews. That happened. Okay, so anyway, let's go to the Holy Quran and talk about this group of people, because I'm telling you, Muslim, you may want to listen to this. This is interesting. Okay, y'all ready? We're gonna go to chapter 2, surah 2, verse 62, or what we call ayat 62. Those who believe in the Quran and those who follow the Jewish scriptures and the Christians, we know about those two, and the Sabians, any who believe in Allah in the last day and work righteousness, shall have their reward with their Lord. On them shall be no fear, nor shall they grieve. So here it talks about who? The Sabians. Who are the Sabians? That's the question.
In early Islamic times, there were 3 groups of people the Muslims respected. Of course, we know about the Jews and Christians, but who was this third group? There is much debate about the Sabians, but the general consensus is they were a group of stargazers who believed in the heavenly law and the unseen God at the same time. Modern scholars also say the Sabians were Christian Gnostics that studied the esoteric meaning of Jesus and Christianity. The record also says the Sabians practiced the Hermetic laws, but all the while being monotheistic, and this is perhaps why the Holy Quran and Islam accepts these mystical stargazers.
So as you will see, the Sabians represent a mystical people who perhaps were studying definitely stargazers. All the reports I've seen say stargazers, right? But not only were they stargazers, they had a belief in a supreme being, oneness, and that's very interesting. Very interesting. The Holy Quran says this. It says in regards to Abraham, and we showed Abraham the power and the laws of heaven. Whoa, that's heavy. The heavens got power, but you said laws as plural, which means there's a different variation of things within the heavens. Okay? Very, very, very powerful stuff. Another one of my favorite quotes from the Quran, it says that Allah created the 7 firmaments in a similar number of earths, and within them flows his commands, or descending is his commands. And it's like, whoa, your commands are coming through these 7 earths, which are really talking about the 7 planets that you see with the naked eye, in which we name the 7 days of the week after. Okay? Saturday, day of Saturn; Sunday, day of the sun; Monday, moon day, right? The obvious ones, okay? And so now, you know, these Sabians, these are stargazers. Some say they were even Hermetic scientists. Like literally, they studied the Hermetic science deals with understanding that the universe, God's creation, is mental. They understand what's called vibration. Ooh, his vibe is messed up. They understand that on the deepest level. They understand correspondence. They understand cause and effect, gender, polarity, rhythm. Okay? So they understand the laws, which is the mind of God, but they also understood that the mind of God flows through planetary spheres, just like the Holy Quran says, and they understand that this mind of God is the one invisible God that shall always remain invisible, but made manifest within everything in creation, but it itself is invisible. Beautiful oxymoron, okay? Beautiful oxymoron. So for those who may say, because you know Muslims, they'd be like, oh, bro, you study the stars, that's shirk. You don't know your book. I'm just gonna have to tell you, this book by far is absolutely the dopest astronomy book ever written. I'm gonna tell you that, because the things that it talks about, science is just now proven. Okay? But again, to teach Abraham the power and laws of the heavens denotes what? That is something from heavens. That is something that we need to know. So make way for the Sabians, all right? The mystic ones. And if you know me, you know this ain't about religion. This is about understanding religion on the deeper level. And that's the definition of the Sabian. The Sabians were the one that were considered, some say they may have been Gnostics, coming from, teaching the esoteric aspect of Jesus Christ and Christianity. Some say they were followers of John the Baptist, and still, no matter what they were stargazing. They understood something. Okay? Now, our people, when you start to come with this melanin jacket that you have, that history goes deep into building pyramids that's pointing at stars, that represents an internal process in the brain, as I shared before, pyramidal cells and astrocytes. You got cells in your brain that look like a pyramid, and you got stars in your body and your brain that also look like cells in your body and brain that look like stars, called astrocytes. These are facts, all right? So let's really get into the mysteries of these things and understand that all of these books, all of the Abrahamic religion books, the Old Testament, New Testament, up into the Holy Quran, are really right and exact, but you got to have a certain lens to understand it. And really, again, there's different groups that are family. Hence, Abraham is the father of many nations, okay? So click that like button, subscribe. Love to see you. Come over to the Patreon. We're having the ball over here. And if you're interested in taking some of the courses, go to nobleampucourses.com. Check us out. And yeah, that's what we're doing. All right. Peace out.